visions cloud my mind. All I've had, I've left behind. Like a stranger, I walk alone into darkness and unknown. Goodbye to all I used to be. Am I lost or finally me? Passion simmers and then it boils. To the victor goes the spoils. Who are we that we choose to live? Taking more than we were meant to give. Riches cannot hide the truth within. To be in love and not to love is just a sin. A lotus flower left for dead. Photographs inside of my head. Passion simmers and then it boils. To the victor goes the spoils.
My name is...
And we are live. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Digital Renegade Podcast. I'm your host, The Dashing Rogue, and I'm with my frequent psychic artistic layman.
Where am I? What is this? Farts. I got caught.
Yeah, you know, honestly, the way things are going, you know, the way the world's burning, the way the world's falling apart, that actually might be a legitimate thing in the gulag. Fuck, I got caught. Now I gotta go to diversity training or some shit like that. Mandated diversity training where they fucking threaten to cut your balls off if you don't fucking comply.
But not before the feds crack down some skulls on the Black Lives Matter protesters.
Oh, dude, you know, honestly, at this point, you know, it's pretty much inevitable that we're gonna go to goddamn war with these motherfucking commies.
It is astonishing, like how disconnected the real world is. Like, Paul Joseph Watson made a video called Modernity 2, and it's every single news story that's basically happened in the last 2 weeks, and it's just madness. Absolute bloody madness.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't like Paul Joseph Watson. I think he's an instigator in a lot of things. I think he has the same problem that Mike Cernovich has in that regard. We are already at war. Yes, we are. But the big difference here is let's make sure that the war is a little one. I don't know if we're I don't know. Luke, maybe Wolf, by the way, welcome, Wolf. People are just realizing it. Yeah. The question is, if there's a war, at what point do we have the sides and some of the sides don't show up? And at what point do we have it where, you know, people don't want to fight? They're just skirmishes happening. I mean, you know, before we get into the big topic today, which again, for those of you who are just tuning in, that was the theme song of The Spoils of Babylon. It was a miniseries created by Will Ferrell, and it's basically lampooning Thornbirds. It's lampooning pretty much every late 80s, early 90s miniseries. And as a guy who, if I ever did a movie, it would be a miniseries. Because you get to have more time to develop, and you get to have cliffhangers and what have you. I just think it's a better format, honestly. And, you know, you could also, it's episodic, so you could sell it to Netflix, to be honest. But if you ever get a chance to watch it, I'd highly recommend you do. Just let you know it's corny as hell, but that's the reason it's so good, is that you have A-list actors like Tobey Maguire, you have fucking Will Ferrell, you have I think Jessica Alba's in it, I believe, as well. Joe Dirt, the guy who played Joe Dirt, David Spade, he's in it as well. And you have all these actors, and they're basically doing the worst performance they have. They're working with the script, you know, that they have. It's an example of good actor, bad script, but it's intentional. Highly recommend it. Will Ferrell basically does his best drunk Orson Welles interpretation or homage, as we say, with an H, you know. But in any case, one of the things I was going to say is before we can get on with the show, I wanted to just go through. I wanted to go through the Genosha issue, and I call it, yes, it's called Genosha, like, you know, the mutant paradise that Magneto tried to build.
Oh, what's this all about?
Oh, Genosha?
Oh no, I know the term, but what are we talking about specifically?
We're talking about basically the civil war that's going on, supposedly. Again, I don't think it's a civil war. I hate to be the guy who has to say this, but it's not a civil war.
Well,
it's a skirmish.
It's the collapse of the radical infrastructure of the blue states.
You know, I don't know. But I'll tell you this. I already have my spy network set up, so I'm already good. I'm very, very good where I stand. And the reason I'm so good at it is because one of the things I oftentimes talk about on this channel is I talk about using thoughts, like Instagram thoughts and, you know, streamed whores and things like that, to use them as, you know, intel gatherers. So one of the things I managed to do is I managed to basically know where a BLM protest will be, because she's in on it. You know, even if she's just, you know, a passerby who's like, oh, it's a little good on Instagram. You know, oh, I'll take a selfie with a freaking with a BLM supporter, and they'll be live, laugh, love, and all this other junk. And so I was able to basically find out that, you know, in San Jose, my hometown, there's going to be a BLM protest. So I was basically preparing. I actually loaded fucking my magazines. I loaded a few magazines, but I keep forgetting. Those fucking pirates keep stealing my shit. They keep. I don't know what it is. Like, why does she? It's one particular pirate in particular. She keeps coming up to me and saying, "Hey, cutie, can I have those guns?" I'm like, "No, go away, get killed." And then she throws me overboard, and I lose them at sea. I don't know why.
Funny how that always happens.
It always happens. I don't know what it is. I'm like, God, you know, I can't even go onto the beach anymore without her fucking, you know, waving at me and keep blowing a kiss from the fucking from the pier. It's just a horrible show. But the point I'm trying to get across here is that I was preparing for the worst, and I don't know if it's the fluorine in the water supply or the birth control, but what we have here is I want to say, like, is this California, or is this just, you know, they're playing their cards right? I don't really know.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Well, I like it when they do it, especially if they start shuffling. They start doing the Cupid shuffle. No, they started doing the Cupid shuffle. I kid you not. It was weird. So I was watching this, you know, basically in my room, prepared for like Armageddon, you know, practically. Have my freaking bulletproof vest on and my freaking my helmet and all sorts of crap, like I'm getting ready to fight the fucking battle of Middle Earth or something, like in Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. And I'm fucking sitting there and I'm like, well, this isn't right. Like, where the hell are they? I'm even having my freaking police radio on and everything, waiting for them to just show up and hear like shots fired, right? Yeah, that's what they were doing. And here's the thing. According to my Instagram thought intel, and by the way, she's a cat lady at this point. I won't even say she's a cat lady, but she's getting into her 30s. A lot of people are getting into their 30s. Wolfwind Pepper says, I'm working on my slab side, your slab side 1911 to get working again. Nice. Honestly, the thing I like about 1911s and older guns is that they're machines, so you can buy parts for them, and they all work. That's one of the things I like about the 1911 is you can basically get it to work with any part. Will it work well? That's something totally different. You know, they have to be fitted. So, I honestly, I might have to have Wolf Prepper on at some point in the near future, simply so he can give us some pointers on what to buy and what not to buy. But there's a lot of things going on. So they were basically what was happening in San Jose was like what was advertised versus what was actually brought up. See if I can find it here. The actual information that I gathered from the Insta Thought, because I just call them Insta Thoughts because they are Insta. They're like pizza. They're like Insta. You know, I don't know. I'm just making shit up now. Point I'm trying to get across is that she stated, according to her intel, that for whatever reason, by the way, we lost video, Luke. I don't know. Okay,
yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, the video capture is messing up for some reason.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, OBS must need an update or something.
Yeah, I hate when they make us. I really don't like the updating crap. But what I wanted to say, particularly, is that what was supposed to happen was they were going to go to the city hall, then march from city hall to the police station. And that the key word was the police station. The fact that we've already seen what happens when they get close to the police station. We already seen what happens when people, you know, start actually trying to take on the police, and the police get cucked. And we already know the mayor's cucked. We already know the mayor's cucked. Welcome, DZ. We already know what will happen. We already knew that, you know, when the police aren't allowed to do their job, and when the police are, you know, basically being poisoned in some cases. Yeah, there was an instance where somebody tried to poison a police officer with a shake, right? They were trying to feed him, and then they put like nails and shit in his burger. Like we're talking like Viet Cong levels of guerrilla warfare. In fact, Brother John basically compared Antifa to the Viet Cong. They're basically they kind of are. So I mean, I kind of want to I was thinking of getting, if I ever get a chance, and if I ever get past the fucking pirate blockade, I was thinking of an M16 or an AK. I'm thinking M16 simply because there's more parts for that, and there's more availability. Plus, you could convert one to a 9mm, or you could convert it to a 45, or you can convert it to a bunch of other cool stuff. But in reality, there was supposed to be a 2-day long protest, and I was thinking, oh my God, the whole world's gonna light up, the whole Bay Area, because it's supposed to be all over the Bay Area, not just in San Jose, but in Oakland. And I wanted to show, if I could find the clip here, certain things that were going on. So, like, one of the things that happened in LA was that somebody just opened fired on a Trump caravan, a caravan of Trump supporters. Have you seen this, Luke?
Was that the man who just shot in cold blood, or the news that caravan just happened just now?
The news of the caravan just happened just now. Apparently,
I've not caught up on. I'm behind on the news, and so I haven't caught up on this yet.
You know, honestly, I got into a big fight with my freaking godparents again, my fairy godparents at this point, and they told me that, you know, oh, you should just get off the internet. I think I'm going to take their advice. I'm getting off the internet for at least a week, maybe 3 days. I'll just say 3 days. I'm turning off my cell phone, except for, you know, business hours. But yeah, confusion after an LAPD response to reports of gunfire at a Trump car caravan. So there's a caravan of cars, and somebody gunned the motherfuckers down. Now, one of the things I think Stephen Crowder talked about was when people come up to your car, you always want to have the door adjusted just ajar just a bit, simply so that if somebody tries to, you know, come up to you and shoot you, you could push them back with the fucking door. It's a defensive maneuver, right? So a car caravan of Donald Trump supporters parading down Ventura Boulevard turned chaotic Sunday on Los Angeles. Police searched for 3 people who might have been involved in an incident connected to the events. No one was hurt at the rally, but the police are still trying to determine exactly what the fuck happened. And that I added that fuck at the end of it. Authorities were searching for three people in Woodland Hills after police received reports that one of them may have fired some type of weapon into a pro-Trump vehicle caravan. It was unclear whether there was physical evidence of gunfire, or if the reports were based solely on witness accounts. Police received a report that a man was firing at a caravan as it traveled, you know, saying the same thing again. Point is that we're going to be hunted now. They're actually going to start hunting down Trump supporters. And we're basically, you know, scum of the earth. We're not even human fucking beings to these people. Wolford
It makes
Pepper.
me sick to see
Yeah.
such a violation of people's rights. We have to strive to reintegrate the disenfranchised into society, not revel in their punishment. We have to show patience. Excuse me? No, I'd never live in the city.
Nah, I honestly, I live in the city. And the city is getting badder and worse, to be honest. But then there's the Intercept article. This happened where, you know, we all talked about the individual, what's his name? Kyle, what is his name? Kyle, where is his? Okay, Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, the combat medic. And I'm going to give him the title, the combat medic, because that's what he is. He's basically a combat medic who's basically, he blew off a communist hand or an arm of a communist, which, by the way, I haven't seen the photos. I've all seen more memes of people's photos, like of you know, a bunch of packets of like fire sauce on the guy's arm versus, you know, like a cinnamon bun. Can you guys like stop? I know you guys love your memes, and I'm going to let you finish them, but for the love of God, don't get to the point where the parody becomes the form, where, you know, the parody of the Honeymooners becomes more popular than the Honeymooners itself, a la the Flintstones. Okay, most people don't know the Flintstones was a copy of the Honeymooners, or a parody, or a homage, whatever you want to call it, but most people don't know who the freaking Honeymooners are. So that's one of the things I will say is that, you know, the simulacrum and simulation, so to speak, that's a real fucking issue. So this Kyle Rittenhouse, according to the Intercept, Trump supporters rushed to defend one of their own who killed protesters in Kenosha. This is by Robert McKee? Robert McKay, I guess his name is McKee. Tucker Carlson said Kyle Rittenhouse, who killed two during a protest in Wisconsin, had to maintain order. Again, this is clearly a biased source, but one of the people who I oftentimes talk about this guy, and I oftentimes talk, when I talk about him, I oftentimes defend him. It's always in the context of defending the police.
There's a tweet that's used in this article you posted from Senator Mike Ganarius. He says, "When Trump glorifies one, we inevitably get the other. If you don't see how upholding the Kloskis embodies people like Kyle Rittenhouse, then you're not paying attention." I fail to see why that's an argument.
Well, let me just say this about this. I was originally of the opinion that Kyle should not have done this. I don't think he should have been there. And my logic and reasoning behind it was he apparently traveled over the state. What they don't tell you is he worked in that city and his house was 20 minutes away. So it's one of those instances where, yeah, technically under the spirit of the law, or the letter of the law, he did break the law. However, he was told, "Hey, can you help us defend this place?" So I'm gonna let the municipalities take care of it. I'm gonna let the freaking cops take care of it. I'm not gonna say, but I'll tell you, when you say that he traveled out of state to go over there, which is true, it's still fallacious, because you never say they never say that, one, he worked there, and two, it was only 20 minutes away. I didn't know that, and my entire perspective on this changed. Now, I sent you a link to Donut Operator, and Donut Operator, you know, this is an example of a cop saying he's wrong, and about the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing. Was Rittenhouse or Rittenbacher? I keep thinking it's Rittenbacher. Rittenhouse, yeah.
2 of the Adventures of Kyle Rittenhouse. Last night, about an hour after I released Volume 1 of The Adventures of Kyle Rittenhouse, my video was taken down by YouTube. It was just cruising along at about 120,000 views after an hour, and YouTube found it to be ineligible and removed it altogether from my channel. I appealed it, tweeted YouTube, and was like, "Hey, what the heck, man?" And then they put it up like 10 minutes later, behind 2 age restrictions. I'm glad it's up. They just kind of killed it there for a little bit. But don't worry, if you come to my stream tonight, I'm not going to be raging about YouTube. We're going to talk about the criminal complaint that was filed against Kyle Rittenhouse today, and we're also going to correct some of the things that I said yesterday, because I will always admit when I am wrong.
Good. We need more people like you, Donut. We really do. I mean, honestly, I often, people say, "Oh, you hate the police." No, I don't hate the police. I have ambivalence and I have caution, because these people can lie to you to get a conviction. You know, keep playing it. I play it on screen
I will
again.
never double down on bullshit like a lot of people you see on Twitter. First up, I have no idea why I said Jacob Blake died. I guess I've been watching way too much CNN. He's actually still alive, and he still has an active warrant against him for sexually assaulting someone, and they're thinking that he is going to be paralyzed from the waist down. The latest thing I've seen about him is police officers did have him handcuffed to the bed because he still has an active warrant for doing something really bad. Now check out what was filed yesterday. This is the state of Wisconsin criminal complaint against Kyle Rittenhouse. He has been charged with 6 counts. First-degree reckless homicide, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, attempt first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, dangerous weapon by a person under 18. Let's go over these a little bit, and I'm going to explain some things to you that I've learned since my video last night. The first count, which is first-degree reckless homicide, states that Kyle did recklessly cause the death of Joseph Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum was the first guy that Kyle shot in the video last night. This is the guy that threw something at him, ran at him, lunged at him, and then ended up getting shot. There's been a screenshot circulating on the internet of the Wisconsin Department of Corrections showing that he was a registered sex offender, and I couldn't find it last night. There's a reason for that. It's been taken down because he died, but the Arizona Department of Corrections still has it up. Joseph D. Rosenbaum. In 2002, he was convicted of 2 counts of sexual conduct with a minor. In 2004.
That was one of the big things I was concerned about. We couldn't figure out where the fuck his information was. Now I don't know much. I don't know much, but I know this: you don't take people's rap sheet offline and within 24 hours of their death. Okay, they're still. I mean, the guy's not even. You don't do that. Okay, you have to get time to put people into the ground. Most of the time, this is not the case. Welcome, Holy Mystic. Greetings to you as well. I'm not convinced he broke any laws either, except for the fact that he was 17 in a state that doesn't let you have access to a long rifle until you're, I think, 18 or 21. But even then, this is one of those instances where the spirit of the law and the letter of the law are at odds with each other. He lives 20 minutes away. So does that mean that he doesn't have like? Again, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to leave it, let the lawmen decide it. But one of the things I want to say is that, I was thinking to myself, how much of these screen caps that we see of oh, this guy's a pedophile, oh, this guy's a sex offender, how much of this is fake and how much of this is real? But and there's no way to verify it either, because if it's not on that site, it's my word against yours at this point. It very well could be the same person in Arizona as it is in Wisconsin. We don't know though. So keep playing it, Luke.
14, he was convicted of interfering with a monitoring device. During his time in prison, he committed a little bit over 40 violations. I also said last night.
That's an impressive list.
Yeah, I mean, even as somebody who doesn't like the law, I will play along when I have no choice to play.
He took a bullet to the head, and that's what grazing wound to the head, but it was other shots that killed him. According to Dr. Kelly of the Milwaukee Medical Examiner's Office, he had a gunshot wound to the right groin, which fractured his pelvis, a gunshot wound in the back, which perforated his right lung and liver, a gunshot wound in the left hand, a superficial gunshot wound to his lateral left eye, and a grazed gunshot wound to the right side of his forehead. When he shoots Rosenbaum, if you'll remember last night, he ran around the back of the car, and then he pulls his cell phone out, and I said, well, maybe he's calling 911 because someone said call 911. He actually didn't call 911. According to reports, a detective spoke with a Dominic Black on August 26th. Dominic stated that he received a call from his friend Kyle Rittenhouse at 11:46 p.m., in which the defendant stated that he shot someone. I think my amazing mod team also found out what started the confrontation between Rosenbaum and Kyle in the first place. Twitter user Drew Hernandez tweeted, a Good Samaritan put out a trash can fire that rioters were about to push into police squad cars. Rioters were then triggered by it and went after the gas station in retaliation. From what I understand, the person with the fire extinguisher was Kyle.
Again, link will be in the description, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you tell if that's Kyle in that video?
Do you Luke? Can you put the video on screen, please?
It doesn't work right now.
Ah, fuck. Well, link will be in the description. And that being said, well, let me just say this: besides, Kyle Rittenhouse basically killing a few commies, and a bunch of BLM retards and criminals, people who, let's just be frank, are scum of the earth, but they still have a right to exist. I mean, let's be frank. We have to be pro rule of law. We have to be. Okay, because the only people who benefit from a civil war are the Chinese, the Russians, and anybody else who's outside of the United States. So I'm not gonna call a civil war until someone shoots me, or tries to shoot at me, I should say. When that happens, it's fucking civil war. And the reason I say that is because I'm not gonna go fucking fight in Portland unless there's a call to arms by the president, right? Unless I'm not going to go fight in, Oakland even. I might just go pass by, to get some footage and what have you. But one of the things I've seen, and you've seen this too. This is from, the link will be in the description again, guys. Jack Posobiec talked about, there was a guy who was supposedly a Trump supporter, just casually walking by. And, well, let's use your imagination, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have access to the to see the actual clip, but it's out there, and it's linked in the description. But
to put it simply, it's like
well,
Godfather. To put it simply, it's Godfather cold.
Yeah, play it.
Well, I can't display it, so.
Well, you could play the audio on it, right?
Here we go.
They gunned down a man. They shot him. They went Hillary Clinton style. He committed suicide by 2 shots in the back of the head. Too soon. Too soon. I know, but that's basically what happened. And this guy was not bothering anybody. He was by himself, and it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna start hunting us.
And someone cried out, "Someone's here," which some people assume to be a Trump supporter.
We have one here. We got a Trumpster right here. We got a Trumpster right here. I keep telling people, I tell my godparents, get a goddamn gun. Get a fucking gun. You don't have to connect to the internet. I get it. You want to go the whole Ted Kaczynski route, but even Ted Kaczynski had a fucking, like, a varmint rifle to, like, fucking hunt grizzly bears or something. No, I'm serious. Like, he had a gun. Even Uncle Ted had a fucking gun. And since my Fairly Odd parents are basically, they're basically anti-tech. They're very much anti-tech, so it's very hard for me to show them stuff and try to explain stuff to them by sending them a link and trying to get them to read something. I have to actually print it out and hand it to them like a fucking, I don't know, a troglodyte or some other sort of low-tech, low-brow man. But be that as it may, before we continue on into the main event of tonight, while you're all here, what's in the freaking title, we're going to be talking about ShoeOnHead. Now, I've talked about her last time and how apparently, Armored Skeptic and her broke up. Apparently they did.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, that was very surprising. I was like, apparently she's 30, and the girl in question that Armored or I guess his name's Greg or something. I'm not going to dox him, but that's what I keep hearing people call him, so I'm just going to call him Gregory. Apparently, Gregory is going after an 18-year-old fine piece of ass, which you couldn't even tell if it was like. Let me see if you can get this right. Alrighty, let me see if I can find it here.
Here's ShoeOnHead. I'm sure.
Here's ShoeOnHead. Now, if you could find, and I actually have a link. Let me see if I have it. This is Kiwi Sunset, and I know it sounds like a fucking. It doesn't. It sounds weird, but just let me just say this: if there ever was a conspiracy to like clone like Boxy and to make government mandated girlfriends for like the communists or what have you, this would be it.
So this is not ShoeOnHead.
This is not ShoeOnHead. That is not ShoeOnHead. Even and of course, this bitch is basically trying to reply to Shoe. It says, acknowledge, June, I need to know you still exist. June, I need to know you exist. And again, they're basically the same character. It's almost like Liquid Snake and Solid Snake almost, ain't it? I mean, this is not the best comparison because ShoeOnHead looks totally different in this particular regard, but their makeup, their color, their skin tone, like I could basically go with the whole, like, this is Liquid Shoe essentially. And I kind of think Liquid Shoe is more of a fucking catchy term, but it kind of is weird. But other than that, we're gonna start from the beginning. Let's not Tarantino this. Let's try to do this. What the hell's his name? The guy who did Godfather and Apocalypse Now. Let's Francis Ford Coppola this fucker instead of Tarantinoing it. Even though I am wearing a fucking Hawaiian shirt, so I'm more likely to be a Tarantino. Okay, so ShoeOnHead. For those of you who don't know who she was basically one of Sargon's crew back in the day. And she was basically, this Boxy lookalike, and she was known for, doing her hot takes against SJWs and feminists, and she was all into the whole cringe factor crap.
But with sex appeal.
Oh, she was supposedly supposed to have sex appeal, right? But one of the things I wanted to share, and I'll show you a clip here. Give me 1 second. I got to open up a new tab with incognito because she blocked me, right?
Oh.
She blocked me like a while back. ShoeOnHead as opposed to the boxy look like. I don't know, liquid shoe. We'll call it a liquid shoe from now on. I don't fucking. Point is that one of the things that I noticed, and this is the thing that I personally saw, why I got blocked, is ShoeOnHead was making a bunch of ramblings about mental health. She was talking about. Let me see if I can find it here. Here's the exact conversation. And I really do think I know why she became a communist. I think I know why. It's mutual gain. She wants mental health care. That's my take on it. So this is a link. You could put it on display if you want. She says, and this is back in June 10th, 2020. For people asking, what is ADHD like? You know when you walk to the kitchen and you forgot why you were there? That's what ADHD is. All the time. For everything. You're a sim given task, then the player deletes the task, and you wind up placing the plate on food on the floor. And then this is after, this is before that, an hour prior to that. Starting ADHD meds soon. This is huge. I was on something when I was a kid, then quit. Then diagnosed again when I was about 20 and quit in a span of a week. But this shit ruins my life every day. I just wonder. I'm just worried and curious how it will affect my personality. Can you relate? I say ADHD or the human condition. Before you start ask yourself this question. This shoe, what is mentally healthy and who determines this? I go through the whole DSM, or what is orthorexia nervosa and all that. She blocks me. And I thought to myself, okay, well, I'll scratch that off the list of the people in Sargon's crew who block me because I ask dangerous questions. But it got even weirder as people will start to notice. Here we go. Let's see if I can find it.
Weirder, you say? How so?
It gets weirder. Because I personally think she's joined the communists specifically to deal with this ADHD thing. I think that might have been the reason why they broke up, that she was just a little bit too rough around the edges. Not edgy, but rough around the edges. So here's a clip, and it says, it's basically her talking about ADHD. Can you play the clip?
Hard to live with. I know people just think it's like, ooh, shiny object. It's not. It's like you're very unmotivated, you're depressed, you just can't concentrate, of course, obviously, but you can't you have just a static in your mind 24/7. And you're really disorganized. My room, it's a mess. My apartment was a mess.
So was mine, but
it's really, really bad, especially when you working with ADHD is terrible. Your bosses, your managers, they don't understand it. They think you're disorganized. They think you're lazy. They think you're forgetful. They think you don't care. It just sucks.
Well, it's not just commies that need mental health care. Bro, I hate to be the guy, I hate to say this to you, Wolf, but the commies run the mental health system. And I've talked about this before on my channel about how I think it's the DSM in 1974. They literally protested away gay being a mental illness. It was once considered a mental illness, and then they protested it away. No scientific, scrutiny. There wasn't a new test or anything. They just said, "We're going to defund you if you don't take us off," and they took them off. So you wonder why everything's crazy is because we actually have people who would normally be considered mentally ill running around and being pandered to. So for the longest time, I was of the opinion I can't have a gun. But you can let a fucking transvestite what the hell's her name? Blair White? You'll let her have a gun, even though statistically speaking, they're more likely to be aggressive. There's more likely to be spousal abuse between lesbians and gays and what have you. Beckloff says, to be honest, I think ADHD is a real thing. I speak with someone who has it, but the drugs most of the time, they're worse than the disease. Indeed. And let me I got some things here that I want to say about ADHD. I personally think that ShoeOnHead is better off being a huntress, not a huntress, a huntress, than a farmer. And the reason behind that is that there's a hypothesis called the hunter versus farmer hypothesis. It's basically the idea that the people with ADHD, the people with ADD and all these other hyperactivity disorders, the reason they are like that is because they're a throwback to our hunter-gatherer ancestry, and that they don't have the ability to sit down and tend a field. They're more likely to go out and kill a boar or some sort of thing in the wilderness and get it for their meals. That's what they're.
Most
What's up?
revered experts in human nature are saying as much. And this is how it worked in the old Soviet Union. It is wise to consider that in the Solzhenitsyn era of gulags and iron-fisted reactions to political dissent, that most of the dissidents were imprisoned in mental health facilities, the logic being that if you disagreed with the state, there must be something wrong with your mind.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing the same thing that the fucking communist Chinese are doing. They basically said, well, here's the issue though. If you're a Muslim and you're mentally ill, which again, I hate the Muslims, I don't like them, but they're not mentally ill. They're just fucking evil. But in any case, as a kid, the meds always worked on me. I got way more done school-wise, but I felt dead inside. Dude, I've been on some stuff that really fucked with me. And I think a lot of, like I said, I think a lot of people on the internet are, naturally, there's like a animal magnetism when it comes to the spurgs. And it's not to insult people when I say spurgs. I mean, like, legitimately, they are like one of us, and we work together. And we join together like Voltron, so to speak. Let's see. Holy Mystic says, I believe that there are some natural ways to deal with the mental states and even sessions to help a lot. A lot of mon drugs make it work. They do. And here's the thing. This is really why I want people to understand this very, very. I don't think Shue is a communist. I believe that in order for her to live a functional life, like sometimes, there are drugs that are not I believe that there are certain drugs that are not covered, let's say, under your medical prescription, a package, let's say, in your job. So as a result, you might have to get a drug that actually works for you, and then you're at the mercy of your HMO. If the HMO doesn't cover it, you can't. You're working, but you're going to have an effect. It's going to affect you in such a way that you can't work. I'm of the opinion that Shue needs to find something that she can do that will basically let her be as crazy as she needs to be, whether it be working at a comic book store. And yes, I know there's a fucking borderline that has ADHD. I actually worked for her at one point that works at a comic shop, or shops, I should say. She basically works at the same job everywhere she goes. But I'm of the opinion that the reason ShoeOnHead defected over to the communists is because she needs medical health care, and that medical health care that works for her just so happens to be out of reach because of a bunch of HMO and a bunch of bureaucracy when it comes to the medication. That's what I'm of the opinion of. Wolf from Pepper says, hey, your show attracted me. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. DZD says, mess made me worse. Meds made you worse. Yes. Dude, I've been off meds since fucking 2000. Oh, when was it? 2015. I will say. And the reason the whole reason I got off of it was because I'll tell you a story before I continue, because I figured I might as well, continue with this story, because we'll take a break for a second. But basically, ShoeOnHead is becoming an SJW, and she broke up with Armored Skeptic. I don't know the reasoning behind it. They said it was because of the distance and what have you. I personally am of the opinion that we'll get into it. But what I wanted to say is I basically was driving with my mom. We were driving all the way across to go see my dad, right? And I was in the back seat because, I always sit in the back seat because I like being driven places. I like having a chauffeur. That's just who I am. And, we got cut off. We flipped. We went off the road. We flipped. I survived.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have any harm done to me. Except for maybe like a little scratch on my shoulder, but that was it. I cut myself out of the car, walk out, and say, "Well, that's that. Let's go get something to eat at freaking Starbucks or something. Let's go over to Jack in the Box, or what was it, Carl's Jr. And we'll just have a freaking glass of water or whatever." I didn't know how to react. Point is that it didn't scare me to die. I wasn't frightened of death. I was more frightened of somebody saying, "Well, you're in shock." I'm like, no, I'm not in shock. Just leave me be. I'm fine. Okay, I got this. no, you should see a doctor. I'm like, I don't want to see a doctor. I don't need any meds. Just leave me alone. And it was at that point where I realized I was more frightened of being subjugated by a fucking drug, whether it be the Soma from Huxley's Brave New World or fucking, Ritalin or Adderall or any of these other fucking drugs. Point is that, I got off of it because I realized that, when you're not frightened of death, but you're frightened of fucking a little pill or being forced to take a pill, that is something that is worth, actually looking into. Wolfwind Prepper says, cause I'm a Spurg. Oh, hi, you're so attracted to me because I'm a Spurg. Well, oh, I see. Backlaw says, did she say she went commie? No, she didn't say she went commie. She just started hanging out with the commies. We're going to get to that in a second. So,
I mean, didn't we have her last week in a live stream where they're discussing when they're going to, was that Sargon? They're actually having a long discussion about whether or not we're going to do with the people who disagree with us.
Yes, we did. We had that on there, but let me get to that. So, okay. So one of the things that we need to understand, and this is something that I got to give, say what you will about the balding bisexual man, and a Canadian friend. He called it. He called it from a mile away. And you could play this clip right here. He called it on Shoe. Because one of the things that ShoeOnHead had, and it gets vicious, by the way. It gets really fucking vicious with this whole breakup. Because not only did Armored Skeptic... Hey, Arini, how you doing? Play it.
Did you guys know that June is bald?
June's bald?
Yeah, she wears a wig. She
Really?
started tearing her hair out when she was 12. Which also fits, that certainly fits with my theory that she was molested, which, I mean, it's sad. I don't want to laugh at her for this, but at the same time, rather, she's making this everybody else's problem. That she was molested or somehow sexualized at an early age. So this is why psychologically she is regressed to that age, and she acts like this lolly all over the internet. And she has these really creepy male feminist fans that just want to
Pork her.
Yeah, just these really submissive, effeminate men that subscribe to her, and it's weird. Like the male pedophile is often very pathetic and effeminate. They'll have like the aggressive side of them that tries to be a real man, right? And that's where you get Muhammad killing people for no damn reason. But then they crack so easily because it's very plastic masculinity. And next thing you know, he's groveling on the floor in front of 9-year-old Aisha.
Shit. Yeah.
I'm just saying the shoe fits. I don't know what the hell happened to her. I don't know why she's so mental, but she is mental and she behaves like a 12-year-old girl.
Well, maybe she had cancer or a tumor, and as a result, she had to go through chemo. Well, yeah. The point is that we all can confirm now she has ADHD, or at least she's been diagnosed. I personally think that a lot of these ABCs of the STDs are they're just fucking social constructs half the time. I mean, when we start talking about orthorexia nervosa and internet addiction disorder and a bunch of other junk, I honestly just I can't do it. I can't honestly believe that this person is legitimately crazy. I just think that you're using it as a crutch. So that's Armored Skeptic next to Lindsay Ellis, next to the tranny, next to ShoeOnHead. But the thing that really gets me, and the thing that really spooks the fuck out of me about this whole ShoeOnHead debacle is primarily due to the fact that the woman in question that because here's the thing, Armored Skeptic basically left ShoeOnHead. And he went for another woman. Now, have you seen this other woman, Luke?
Wait, the one we had on screen or someone else?
The other one we had on screen, because not many people know this, and it's very fucking weird. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that one right there, that one with the ShoeOnHead, the one with the Nike or the Adidas, I guess it is. I don't fucking know anymore. The Vans, I guess it is. That's not Shoe. That is not ShoeOnHead. That's a woman by the name of Kiwi Sunset. They look almost identical to each other. Like legitimately, it's like Liquid Snake and fucking Solid Snake. Like they're clones of each other. It's fucking weird. So I got a bunch of clips from Kiwi Farms of all place, not affiliated. They're basically a bunch of spurgs who pick on the mentally ill, and they pick on people, and they stalk people, and they just gather data on people.
Yeah, they made an article on me for some reason.
I don't know. Maybe it's because
they have. I just don't know. I was kind of surprised they found all the photos they found.
I'll have to look it up sometime. But be that as it may, Again, at this point, I'm just ready to be doxxed at this point. I have not yet gotten a page. Don't make one for me either, okay? Don't do it on for April Fool's or Christmas even. But there's a lot of crap out there. I mean, it's getting to the point where, you know, she was this Kiwi woman, she was basically, you know, hitting on, she was sleeping around with Armored Skeptic. And this woman, you know, she is basically, you know, an 18-year-old version of ShoeOnHead. Which basically just means she's a, you know, a Zoomer version of Boxy.
How old is ShoeOnHead?
She's like 30 now. So the fact that Armored Skeptic basically, you know, broke up with a 30-year-old woman who he already was going to marry. They were already going to be together, and he leaves her for basically the same woman. And I say the same fucking woman because that's basically what she is. And I don't know whether I should insult, you know, the Kiwi girl for ripping off Shoe or Shoe for ripping off Boxy, but they all look the same. They're like, I really honestly think that there's like some sort of like genetic engineering or something going on where the government's trying to make the perfect waifu, and then they came out with ShoeOnHead and fucking Boxy and this Kiwi woman. But yeah, it's fucking weird.
Oh, yeah,
so
here it is.
What's up?
Remember this little memento someone made? The anime versions of them.
Yeah, which is weird because here's the thing, you know, women age like butter and or milk, and men age like wine. So it's really fucked up what's going on, and it kind of reminds me of the movie Lolita. You ever seen Lolita?
Yes, I have. It's so
okay.
Sad. Yeah, it's sad.
So you know about how apparently it was about some guy who, you know, had unfulfilled love with like somebody at a young age. So therefore he starts looking for young girls who basically fill into the archetype of that particular person who died of, I think, of typhus at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's basically what I think is going on with Armored Skeptic. Like, this is very, very niche. Like, they're like, I like redheads, all right? If I were to date, let's say, like the most beautiful redhead in the world, for me, it's Cynthia Dicker, the Brazilian model. If I dated someone and I was actually going to court her and like marry her, I don't care, you know, how her age is. I mean, she's just attractive. She's the perfect woman. But then somebody who looked exactly similar, I mean, down to the freckles, down to the fucking hair, same height, same weight, same fucking tone, maybe like a few different things here and there, but ultimately they're the same. Is it fair to say that there's something wrong with me, or there's might be something going on under behind the scenes, like I'm, you know, trying to go after that one chick in high school that I never could get my hands on or something? Because that's sort of what's going on here. Like, I am legitimately wondering, like, is this like a very specific thing? Like, people were even bashing Armored Skeptic, saying, "Hey, buddy, what the hell are you doing? Why are you fucking with? Why are you basically achieving something that most guys want? They want to get married. They want to find a waifu. They want to find, you know, a good, you know, trad waifu, essentially. And, you know, she may not be trad, but she at least is, you know, tolerable, I should say, or passable. And then he dumps her and goes for this fucking, you know, Instagram thought.
If it's because she's getting older.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. I got just right.
Shut up, man.
No, I got the right point. It's just too soft.
Janie accuses me of chasing jailbait. She bursts into angry tears, asking if it's because she's getting older. It's true. She's aging more noticeably every day.
Oh, God. Same woman except for the wig. No, well, you know what's funny about that is that, you know, what's only gonna exacerbate things is shit like this. Give me 1 second. If I can find it. Oh boy, where is it? Vroom. It gets weirder because we already know that you know, ShoeOnHead was dating or this Kiwi girl was dating Armored, right?
Uh-huh.
When you add insult to injury, she says on June 27th, okay, okay, now I feel bald without the wig. Yeah.
Oh,
she basically stole another woman's man, and now she's basically doing passive aggressive passes at people. So, again, our balding bisexual pimp friend, Arini, and yes, Arini is a pimp. And not necessarily like he gets a lot of women. Well, he understands people better than they understand themselves in some regards. The problem is when it comes to his own nature, he doesn't know jack shit. He projects, But the thing that gets me, and again, I linked in the description, Luke. I'll send you a link.
This video, the link that their tweet you just sent me has her, and her face looks like a mask.
Her face does look like a mask, and the thing that gets me is I don't know if it's the lighting or what it is, but the fact that these people are fighting, like they know each other, they know they exist. So like this one particular Kiwi says, "Who are you simping for?" And it's like Bella Delphine, that the Bernie Boomer girl, and herself. And then someone says, "Who's the third one? ShoeOnHead?" And then ShoeOnHead replies, "No, it's a fake fucking whore."
Oh.
So there's like some bad blood between the two, and I kind of want to know who's gonna kill and become the real Boxy. Who's gonna like win in this like clone battle? The clone. Probably should rename it the Clone Saga, to be honest, because let's be frank, the emancipation of ShoeOnHead by the coward Vaush the Stampede doesn't sound the best. Armored Ghost, you've been trying to get a hold of me for some time. Same woman except for the wig, maybe. Armored Ghost says, thoughts on the hookup culture. Hookup culture is ultimately going to destroy people. Men and women, men specifically, they can fuck all they want. But the problem here is that, men can go around fucking anything they want. I mean, for fuck's sake, they could fuck a Japanese like war bride, right? They could like gang rape her or something. And then they could like go away for like 40 or 50 years, come back and like, oh, how you doing? They could do that. Women don't have that ability. So the only people who ultimately fail at this are the women. And when it comes to hookup culture, men get everything. Women don't. And this is an example of why I don't like hookup culture. Oftentimes, I've oftentimes been bashed for being a romantic, being a hopeless romantic, in fact, because I want to have a wife, kids, house, and property. I want that. That's all I fucking want. And what pisses me off is when we have little cucks and little people who really should not be getting married. It pisses me off. It pisses me off because as somebody who works their butt off, and hopefully I'll be getting a raise soon. I don't know if I will or not. I very well could be fired this next week. I don't know, but let me just say this. I have a friend right now who's taking he has $16 an hour. He's in IT. He has a trade. He has a college degree, and he's taking $16, $1 above the minimum wage. That is what is happening right now. Now, I'm happy the fact that I'm basically busting my ass trying to, take a bunch of certificates saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm Mr. Meeseek, look at me. I'm getting all the certifications. Keep me alive. Keep me alive. I'm still here. And, thank God I have a good boss that likes me, and they understand that I'm a little bit, let's just be frank. I'm not very good at remote desktop support. I'm better at actual hands-on stuff. That's the California minimum, right? Yeah, $15 an hour is the California minimum. That's exactly the point. That's the punchline. The guy literally has a college degree. He has a fucking trade. He has skills. He's not just some dig ditcher, right? And he's getting $1 ahead of minimum wage. Now, at least he has a job, but let's be frank, in Soviet United States, the $1 that's yanked by taxes. Exactly. And, it's been hard for me to keep up with inflation, but I've managed to do it. Thank God I've managed to do it. The whole, this is the last week of the Santa Clara Citywide cleanup. And basically I've made a lot of money. I made about maybe $500 off of the Santa Clara cleanup, which I've used to not only supplement my income, to buy things and groceries, but I've also bought munitions that then fucking got stolen by that fucking pirate. That fucking whore. She keeps stealing everything from me. I don't even like get near her. I'm like, you stay away from me. It's like, Leonardo DiCaprio and that fucking Cameron Diaz in Gangs of New York. Like, she's a fucking pickpocket. So you keep your at arm's length. And then somehow, don't ask me how, she always fucking steals the bullets. Like, what the fuck? But in any case, we're going to continue on to the next part of the topic. So
in America, you have a job. In the Soviet Union, job has you.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'd rather have Job have me as opposed to me have Job. And the reason I bring that, and before we continue, here's something you can post so everyone knows where we're at. Post this there. It's a JPEG, so you could.
What's this? What's this?
This is basically where we are. This is if you had a bookmark for where we are in this story so far, this is what you would put. There we go. And again, they look identical. I'm telling you, it's like a fucking government clone operation. It's fucking weird. Like, legitimately, it's like they cloned, Alice from fucking Resident Evil. And, like, you had, was it Maria Abramovich? What was her name is? Jovovich, right? Mina Jovovich, or whatever. The guy that is the wife, the director's wife who's in the movie because she's fucking him, right? They got cloned in that movie like multiple times, and like that was like a plot point or something. That's basically what we're dealing with now. They're the same fucking. They look identical, don't they? They fucking look identical.
You never guess.
Yeah, it's like one's liquid snake and one's solid as snake. One's younger, but they're gonna age rapidly. It's fucking weird. But I'll tell you this: I'd still hit on. I'd still get you. I'd still go after her. Who am I kidding? And even then, it'd be more like Harley Quinn and fucking the Joker, or at least the more stable version of the Joker. Let's see. We can't see Luke now. We can. Awesome. Yeah, that's basically what it is. They are almost identical. It is. I don't know if there's like bad fashion choices, or if there's like some sort of like guy who's an alpha Chad who's fucking all these women, and then just like with Genghis Khan and like red hair, we go from like Asia, like parts of China, and then Mongolia, and we go to fucking Laos, and then we go to fucking Vietnam, and they all are like descendants of Genghis Khan. They all have like the same gene or the same facial structure or something. It's fucking weird. I don't know what the hell this is, but I'll tell you, this ain't fucking normal. All right? Can we all agree that this ain't fucking normal? This is like, not just in his actions, the fact he ditched his fucking brushing bride-to-be for an 18-year-old, which I'll just say, I don't think she's 18. I think she's like 17 or 16. She like I don't even think she knows what Asuka is. I don't even mean to be a dick here to like the otakus, but I don't even think she knows who half those anime characters are, simply because they were before her fucking time. Okay. No, seriously, like I have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to manga and shit like that. Stepford Wives, yes, I actually do believe that Stepford Wives, that's the running theory, that like the out there theory, that these are escaped clones of Boxy, and essentially they all have the same hairstyle, same likes and dislikes. They were programmed to them by birth, and they're basically they're like prototypes of the government mandated girlfriends or whatever, state-sponsored girlfriends or wives or whatever. It kind of is. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, because I'll be frank with you. This is weird. Like, this is like Catherine and Catherine from fucking the movie Catherine, or the show Catherine. The fucking game Catherine. What the hell am I saying? Any case, so
lost her looks, and all for Mrs. A too. She had lost her looks and all her liveliness. It might be true, as some said, that she consumed herself by bearing his children and nursing him through the long illness that overshadowed their earlier married life.
And when is this from?
C.S. Lewis on sexual morality.
I don't know. All I know is, let's see. Meaty Hit says the singer married to Elon Musk is kind of like that, creepy. Really? Let me just look at Elon Musk's. If it's like a one-to-one comparison, I am legitimately going with that. Like, I was joking about that for a second, but if it's the same fucking character, like the same look, Elon Musk wife, and the fact that they're naming their kid like a model of like a car. Let's see.
Everyone, except Mr. A and Mrs. B, knows that Mr. A in a year or so may have the same reason for deserting his new wife as for deserting his old. He will feel again that all is at stake. He will see himself again as the great lover, and his pity for himself will exclude all pity for the woman.
I guess. All I know is that, Shue is losing her fucking mind. The whole Kiwi debacle is breaking everything. And Vaush the Stampede, and that's his new name because he gish gallops people. Look that one up if you want to know what it... Actually, I'll look it up for you because fuck it, I have time. So you could play this. And this is something that I think that Vaush is telling the truth here in this clip about apparently people want to fuck Shue. And a lot of people are saying Shue's fucking Vaush. I think she is. I think that she understands that sex is a commodity in this day and age, and I think she uses sex. Like I'll just say it. I think that a lot of people on the right, not mainly the dissident right, and I'm not talking about actual like right wing, left wing, whatever. I'm talking about people who are against SJW. They are fucking each other. We already know Lauren Southern was basically Faith Goldie was sucking off Richard Spencer. We know that Lauren Chen is fucking her producer. We know that I'm trying to think of other people who fucked around. I'm trying to think. We already know that Sargon has his wife's son. The point I'm trying to get across here is that, like I said before with Arini, some of these people are, the exception to the rule. They're very exceptional people, but that doesn't necessarily always mean it's a good thing. So play the clip, Luke.
Now, I don't know how much you guys keep up with all the hot and fresh skeptic community memes, but I and a friend of mine have been a subject of a pretty hot one over the course of the past couple of months. See, here's the gist of it. Local, I guess, skeptic-based e-thought femoid has recently been associating with a slightly different group of people than she used to. Now, it's probably well known to the people in this stream that I'm friends with ShoeOnHead, and I like ShoeOnHead. She's very friendly.
This is sped up.
It is sped up. Like, how far are we going? Like, are we talking like
1.
Teddy
5.
Spaghetti levels of speed?
1.5 already.
Okay, so before we continue, the reason I call him this Vaush the Stampede is because he's a gish galloper. A gish gallop is a technique used in debating that focuses on overwhelming the opponent with many arguments as possible, without regard to accuracy or strength of arguments. That's Vaush right then and there, isn't it? Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
Vaush the Stampede. That's his new name.
But my relationship with ShoeOnHead has taken a conspiratorial bent for some people. You see, there are a lot of people who legitimately seem to believe that I am grooming ShoeOnHead into being a communist. Now, I know off the cuff.
Well, Vaush is an admitted communist, right?
He's a socialist, and I say that he's a socialist because I personally think he's a Nazi plant.
And big difference. There's from my perspective, there's no difference between a socialist, a communist, and a fascist.
Well, yeah, that's why I say. But keep in mind, the people who are telling him, kill, kill all the fucking the right wingers. They're not going to realize they're going to kill his little white boy ass. Then they will. They'll fuck. Like, can you pull up a picture of Vaush, please? All right. He's a blue-eyed, blonde-haired white boy who turns pink at the first sign of. Well, let's just say he's a pink pinko. Let's call him that. He's a pink pinko.
Where's a good shot of him? Let's see.
I hate that Vash and his namesake. I hate that Vash is his name. And Vaush. It's Vaush, not Vash. A Fash is a Kmart brand commie. That's good. And ShoeOnHead and Kiwi Sunset are Ford whores. So I'll let you figure that one out. But yeah, I mean it's weird. It really honestly is weird, like why these two look identical. I mean, like they're like long lost relatives or something. Like she could be her fucking daughter for all we know. Like if we had like we were doing a casting call for a second. See if you can find a picture of Vaush. If we would do a casting call, I would say she was like the mother or the daughter or the older daughter of fucking Kiwi. And we all know that Kiwi's gonna start basically being innate thought. She's gonna start fucking having opinions, if that makes any sense. And the opinions are often going to be communism. I mean, she's already there with her fucking, her Instagram. Everything is like a communist. What's it? Not burqa. What the fuck is it called? Balaka? No, it's not Balaka. It's the fucking Ushanka. That's the one. The Ushanka. But yeah, show me Vaush. Show the people Vaush for those who don't know who he is.
There he is.
Yeah, the pinko, the little pink man. I don't know why he turns pink all of a sudden. Like it's like whenever he starts thinking really, really, really hard, like all the blood rushes to his brain because he needs to have that high IQ, smooth brain shit go away. I don't know.
I don't know what it is about him, but there's just something about when he grows his beard out. There's something off about him. His whole face looks plastic and fake. Like it tapped into it was like a failed robot that's still stuck in the uncanny valley.
He looks like he has Botox. like he has like boat, and you know, based on what I've actually got his DDL, I got his docs on him, and apparently, apparently the man does come from California. I'm not going to say where. I'm not going to give out his docs because we don't dox people unless we get struck first, and we can confirm that we got struck by that said person. And I'm just going to say it. This guy reminds me so much of every hipster I've ever encountered in a craft beer bar. That's what that is. He's the guy who we all encountered at the beer bar. Point is that continue with the Vaush thing, please.
Let's see, where were we?
Clip that. Continue.
That sounds like funny. Actually hear it again because there were literally thousands of people who actually believe this is a thing. Grooming ShoeOnHead into being a communist. There are a lot of layers to this, but I'd like to...
But isn't that kind of what you do as a communist?
Well, yeah, he kind of is grooming her, but here's the thing. Sargon, I don't want to hear you ever say the word groom again. No, because at the end of the day, like if you're wrong, you get to do what Medicare did and just start saying, groom me, daddy, groom me. You know, you basically get to make fun of it because, you know, unless you absolutely know for certain, like I'll just say it, Vaush is the Stampede because he fucking gish gallops. And if you could just hold him down and say, no, define your terms, show me what you mean by right wing, and keep in mind, within the political context, has to be the political context and things like that actually matter. No, oh God.
Yeah, here it is. That's the face.
That's the. Oh my God. I want to break his glasses. I want to like snap his glasses in my fucking hands, like Goro from fucking Mortal Kombat. Oh, and they probably are $500 sunglasses, or not sunglasses. They're probably one of those fucking. What was it? The transition glasses. You know, they transition from fucking being a straight clear fucking glass, and then they transition into fucking being sunglasses and hip. Meaty Hit says, haha, I was just thinking about the guy at the bar, the typical 2010 hipster thinking a socialist libertarian stance makes him unique. Yeah, and here's the problem. Vaush, you look like everybody else. I wouldn't mind if he actually tried to like get some dreadlocks or something, like look like a barbarian. He'd look better as a barbarian, to be honest. Like if he's gonna do Skyrim, like actual Fos Ruda. I guess that's his Fos Ruda face. I don't know. But continue with the clip.
Open with an indication of the severity with which this rumor has spread. I have gotten numerous emails from brave warriors of the right looking to challenge me for Milady's honor. It's true. I imagine ShoeOnHead's gotten like 10 times as many. I would just guess, you know, probably. I would infer. Yeah, people challenging to fight me. I've had people speculating all sorts of wild stuff about a human being I've literally never met in person. And amongst those speculators, probably the most embarrassing of them is Sargon of Akkad, who has been acting like, I shit you not, a poster child for our creepy PMs over the past month. It is actually, in fact, his behavior is so embarrassing that just talking about it makes me feel like I'm denigrating my channel.
This guy is the living embodiment of the Thomas Jefferson quote when he said, nothing can be believed which is seen in a newspaper.
Well, let me just say this. I think he's correct about it. I do think that, you know, Shue has basically been used like a cum dumpster. You know, she's been used, and I do believe that, you know, whether it be Armored Skeptic just being a degenerate fuck, and I'll be frank with you, you know, as much as I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, I do think that is the case. You don't fucking divorce a girl, or even divorce, like you don't dump a girl who you're engaged to, that you are practically married to, and you don't do it when she's 30. Do it when if anything past 25, you're in it to win it. Okay? Please continue, Mr. Stampede.
In some way, but I'll set the stage for you guys so we can really lean into it, okay? So just 3 days ago, Sargon released a video, okay? And absolutely shameless. Socialists are bad people at ShoeOnHead. See that right there? Not only is he directly naming her in the title right here, but he is he's doing the little @ symbol, okay? So this is a message. This is a letter. This is a message in a bottle. Let's see what this message sounds like, okay?
That being said, the message in question and the video in question was the one we played last week where Sargon says socialists are bad, comma, at ShoeOnHead. And I'll send you a link to that where they basically are on the stream and ShoeOnHead joins in right beforehand. And they're talking about what's going to happen when we take all the cops and the cops don't want to fall in line. What's going to happen to the people who basically, like me and Wolf, are going to dissent against the new order. What's going to happen to us? Do we kill them? I don't think I'm prepared for that. They're actually like talking about fucking, you know, killing somebody. Like how, like they're going over like the scenario in their head, like what if, right?
get to in any reasonable amount of time, I think is, very unrealistic.
It's actually incredible that a bunch of people are getting on board with murderous extremists who actually have the intention of overthrowing capitalism, taking everyone's property, and making us all serfs of the state. That is literally what a socialist government does.
Yeah, and the sad part here is I really do believe that a lot of this boils down to an act of necessity. I don't believe Shue is actually in love with anybody. I think she's using sex as a weapon in this regard, so she can get her ADHD medication.
Oh,
and I'm serious. I think that she understands that in the current state of things, and I'll just say it right now. We have to treat this similar to somebody who has, cancer or some sort of life-threatening illness, because it's not the fact she can't get medical care. If she breaks her elbow, she'll be fine. She breaks her fucking rib, she has open heart surgery. That's going to be a little bit more, but she'll be fine. Certain HMOs don't cover certain medication. They don't. They just don't do it. So they can give you like a generic version of that medication, but even then, that doesn't work. And let's suppose, for the sake of argument, for just a second, that she gets on a medication that works. Let's say, and this actually happened to a friend of mine, that she automatically gets on that medication. It works for her. She's functionally stable for about 3 or 4 years, and then that company goes out of business. They no longer make that medication. Now you're at the mercy of big pharma. And you're going to be putting on uppers, downers, all arounders, stuff that makes you gain weight, stuff that makes you lose weight, stuff that makes you stay up for hours on end, stuff that makes you, fall asleep and be a zombie. There's stuff that like, again, I'll tell you, if you could go without the meds, go without the meds by all means. There's nothing wrong with it. But again, I think a lot of this boils down to the fact that the mental health system sucks. I'll be the first one to say, you're not mentally ill. You're just quirky, and I like that. That's sort of what I would be on with Shue, or anybody for that matter. But continue playing.
I'm just staggered by it.
So let me explain to you what Shue's political beliefs are, in case you're not familiar with her content but are familiar with mine. She's a social democrat. She's a Bernie Sanders Democrat. She likes Bernie Sanders. Okay. And
the distinction is what?
Well, it's socialized. It's democratic socialism. It's not socialism. It's democratic socialism.
Meaning, so you're just a Democrat.
Pretty much.
Then why call yourself a social democrat then?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I honestly don't know. I guess so. You're not a blue dog Democrat, or you're not a corporatist Democrat, or a neoliberal Democrat, or some sort of, I guess, log cabin Republican or something. Thumbs up if anyone gets that. But in all honesty, Beckloff says, if that goofy looking netbeard fucker is fucking Shue, then good for him, lol. Yeah, I guess. I personally think that we're dealing with somebody who is a femme fatale type of person. Media Hit says, okay, read that. Wolfwind Prepper said, I don't know, soy boys could grow beards. Yeah, that's something I want to know. Like, what the fuck is, like, I myself, I'm a gun-toting, red-blooded American. I can't grow a beard for shit. Maybe it's because I'm a Spaniard and I can't fucking, grow hair at all because I'm more of the native population of, let's say, Latin America side than I am, let's say, the Spaniard side. Wolfern also says the difference is you vote for your abusers. Yeah, I guess so. That's the difference. Continue. Luke?
Basic gist of it. Nice, universal health care, higher taxes. Essentially all of the economic policies that have made the Nordic countries and Europe objectively better places to live in than the United States of America. We're not talking socialism. We're not talking seizing the means of production. We're not talking about anything radical by any definition. We're talking about provable, testable economic policies that don't even fall outside the standard range of capitalist economic literature.
Except you're talking about one country compared to 50 states and one nation.
Well, it's also the fact that there are certain things that you need to understand about socialized healthcare, and I want Fat Boy over here to understand this very, very quickly, and any other person who enjoys a little bit too much food in their life. If you decide to have socialized healthcare and you see some fat fuck, he's clearly 300 pounds overweight, 350 pounds overweight, she's just eating a fucking Gordita Supreme, just chewing that shit down, or whatever she might be eating. At what point is it moral for you to say, hey, I'm paying for your healthcare, fatty, stop it? That's something that actually happens in socialized countries where they will flat out say, stop eating, you're hurting everybody. You're making me pay for your fucking triple bypass surgery, fat fuck. So I want to know, if we're going to have socialized healthcare, does that mean I have to take care of Vaush's fucking, triple bypass or God, I don't know what the hell, AIDS, I guess, if he has, or anything for that matter. Anything that his lifestyle, whether it be his own personal freedom that he goes and does, like if Beckloff decides to go date that fucking redhead chick down the way, and he gets, and no harm on Beckloff here. But if he decides to, get fucking obese, or not even obese, if he gets like AIDS or something, at what point do I pay for his life decisions? And at what point, let's say the same thing, if I get like Gordita Supreme, like super big, like 700 pounds overweight, like my big old fat wife life, right? At what point is it acceptable for him to say, you shouldn't be doing that, I'm paying for your fucking, your stay, kid? The only good argument for communism is the obesity epidemic. Yeah. I mean, there you go. There you go. I'll be honest with you. We need to get rid of the multiculturalism. We need to get rid of multiculturalism in our country simply because the biggest problem right now is we have too many fucking options and nobody can process all the options at once.
Keep in mind, this is a guy who identifies as, in his Twitter account, a libertarian socialist streamer, which is a contradiction in terms, but never mind that.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I'm of the opinion that the people who stream, including myself in this, I just do this for fun. I don't expect to get any more subs, but thank you for those who are subscribing. And those who are new to the channel, like, favorite, and subscribe. However, make no mistake, some of these people who obsess over, whether it be, Bella Delphine, whether they obsess over, ShoeOnHead, what's the guy fucking, what is his name? What the hell? Ninja? Yeah, Ninja and that other guy who got kicked off of Twitch, Dr. Disrespect. They're not your friends. And that's not to say that they can't be your friends. It's just that the average individual can only maintain, I think, 200 relationships, healthy relationships, in a lifetime at once. At once, I should say. Specifically due to the fact that one, again, this is for healthy relationships we're talking about. So this is why you'll see, coding teams and teams at work basically what they're doing is they will divide work groups up into certain sizes, and they're not going to be over 200 people, right? And they do this specifically to optimize workflow. So when you have somebody like, let's say, Dr. Disrespect or PewDiePie or myself or anybody, again, I can't. Again, all you guys here, you're all moderators for a reason. Eventually it'll get to the point where I'm not going to be able to moderate everybody, and I'm not going to be able to take out how should you say it? I'm not going to be able to read all your chats if I get big enough. But again, I just do this for spare time. I don't think I'll go big. If I do go big, hey, I'll remember where I came from. But it's not fair to think that I'm your friend. It's not fair to think that Dr. Disrespect or Vaush or Sargon or anybody on the internet is your friend. They may be your acquaintance. They may be on good terms with you, but they are not your friend. So anyhow, keep going.
Let's see, where were we?
But panicked Sky is Falling Sargon of Akkad sees the warning signs. Panicked Sargon of Akkad sees the telltale signs of imminent communism. And it is at this point that I'm reminded that for some reason we let conservatives get away with calling us the triggered snowflakes for years and years and years.
Because you are?
Well, I hate to be the guy who says this. This is coming from, again, my hot take, for those of you who don't know, until this is released, I don't know when it's going to be released, but the Cuties movie, my hot take is it's going to be pro-Muslim and anti-pedophilia, but it's going to be marketed as such, as it being pro-pedophilia. And I'll tell you, because, the people, say what you will about the triggered snowflakes getting pissed off because of the sexist weather or the sexist fucking air conditioner, right? That's fine. But I'll tell you this, the conservatives in this country, they have a long, long history of, getting triggered by He-Man dolls and things like that. Go look up Beckloff's fucking stream if you want to see an example of that, where people actually thought like He-Man and fucking Skeletor were practicing satanic rituals and shit. There's a lot of that outrage, that moral outrage that exists on the conservative right. It's a moral outrage. And I think a lot of this, and this may be a point I'll give to Vaush, is that one of the byproducts of multiculturalism is going to be moral relativism, where people will say it's moral to not only break up a marriage if you want to go for some younger, hotter piece of ass, but it's also expected of you. You know, there's also the notion that some people will have open relationships, open marriages. Those will all pop up because of the multiple cultures that exist, and they all think they're doing the right thing. Continue, please.
What this reminds me of a little bit is the Lacey Green debacle of some years ago, where all the people on the right got all smug because somebody who identified as a feminist started associating with people who were more right-leaning at the time. Except the difference is Lacey Green actually changed her positions on some issues, whereas ShoeOnHead is just abjectly horrified with the direction the country is going in. Now, I'm not going to waste your time with defending ShoeOnHead's positions because she's fucking soak them. But, however, it gets way funnier than the purview of this video. See, that burner account that Sargon is referring to has, I would love to show it to you, but for reasons I'm about to explain, I actually can't show it to you on stream, okay? But I'll get to that in a second.
Okay, then it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And I'm going to say it right now. It doesn't exist for two reasons. One, we can't prove it's actually his burner account. Two, you could have made that account. Three, I don't know if this is actually, again, there's no way to verify it unless you have like the Sargon's IP. And if you can find Sargon's IP, you can't publish that, because if you do, guess what? Now anyone can DDoS him and find out exactly where he is. So good luck, Vaush.
And a dedicated ShoeOnHead fan account for God, weeks now, responding to like shit she says, retweeting the shit, arguing with her, like back and forth, and he's really, really engaged in this. And over the course of this burner account follow, you know, a clown fiesta, he's been getting increasingly desperate. See, initially it was just him talking with her, you know, like, hey, how you doing? You remember the good times, right? Remember when we were both based together?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, call me sometime if you're not busy. You know, that was basically the vibe I got early on, and you can check the history of the burner account if you want to. But things have gotten more severe with time. And just a couple of days ago, and this is the big explosive finale. Okay, just a couple of days ago, ShoeOnHead and Sargon were arguing, and Sargon was essentially saying, "You're going to communism," and Shue was just saying like, "We need healthcare," you know, like that kind of gist. And
again, the healthcare argument, and the reality situation here is that I think it's Shue that needs healthcare. I think that there's a big gap in this country when it comes to mental health care, access to it. Like, I'm of the opinion you should walk away from it, because a lot of the stuff that they talk about is just nitpicking, and it really ultimately is how people ought to react as opposed to how they actually are. You know, again, I say find a job that fits you. Don't worry so much about fitting into the job. I do work because I like. Again, I'm one of the people who could actually tolerate a lot of the shit that people throw at me, as long as I get to have my weed and my fucking drink at the end of the day. Because I'm set up for like the 1950s, where I do work that is ultimately not fun. I'll get paid, and then I could go home to my family. That's what I set myself up for. Problem here is I have no one to come home to. I don't even have a fucking cat. Hell, I don't even have an iguana. You know, but again, that's hopefully will all change soon. So keep playing.
Back and forth, and Sargon just looked really, really embarrassing. So of course I stepped in and I asked ShoeOnHead, and he tweets like, "Hey, this guy bothering you? Because it's funny, and I'm funny."
Oh, you're gonna white knight now.
Okay, Vaush. Okay, Mr. Stampede, Mr. Humanoid Typhoon. Come on.
I'm hilarious. And Sargon got really, really mad. Like actually really mad. And now I want to say this, okay? There is an undeniable contingent of right-leaning people who legitimately think that I am fucking ShoeOnHead into being more left-leaning. What do you mean, like, commie cum is rotting her brain? There was one particularly crazy guy who threatened to battle me, who said that, right? I think there were so many of them.
If you say so.
No one's gonna battle you, Vaush. They're just gonna show up to your house one day and fucking gun you down, or fucking put a car bomb or something. But again, the notion that people are gonna battle you is never gonna fucking happen. You're more than likely you'll just go outside, you'll be in your robe, you go out to get your fucking your paper or whatever, and then someone shoots you in the back of the head with a .22, and then you'll never know it. You'll never see it coming. I'm not saying that I condone that stuff. I don't. Please don't sue me, and don't come after me, because I have nothing against them. But at the end of the fucking day, and again, that's more likely to happen, especially with people getting gunned down nowadays. In Portland. Go on.
There are some right-leaning people who think that. Now, I'm not stupid enough to think all right-leaning people think that. And I didn't think Sargon thought that. I didn't think Sargon was actually being like the nice guy sim for ShoeOnHead. I thought Sargon was like a former, not business buddy, but like a former peer or compatriot or comrade who was just upset that ShoeOnHead was associating with more left-leaning people. But when I responded with that to ShoeOnHead, Sargon responded, I shit you not, I'm not kidding here, by I don't know if he posted or retweeted or something, a picture of my sweaty cock and balls to his profile and pinned it to the top of
Where
his
does he get these things?
Account.
Okay. I don't know where Sargon. Again, this is all a fucking supposed account that was created specifically as a burner account, which again, there's no way to verify it. We don't know if it's Sargon. We have no idea. Okay. Unless I have some other evidence, but I wouldn't put it past him. For the guy who supposedly shows like Richard Spencer black cock over Twitter DMs. Where is he getting the pics from? So this makes me think to myself, yeah, this might actually be Sargon. But the fact that he's showing I don't know where the hell he got the pictures of fucking Vaush's fucking balls, but I don't want to. Do I want to know? I don't know. Keep going.
Was it like a Dark Side Phil moment where they were accidentally taking a picture of?
Well, I mean, there was that point where Vaush came in with that fat gordita supreme of his girlfriend, the fat one right there. Yeah, I think that's the one with the little hook nose and the.
Was that her?
I think it might be her, the fat girl. Anyhow, keep going.
And linked to it, and started making jokes about my enormous sweaty cock and balls, and that's the reason why I can't show the Twitter account, because I don't know how much of my cock is on there. I don't know, you know. It was a stream screenshot too, so it's like even more of a creeper thing. Like I'm walking around in like gray sweatpants, you know. But anyway, he was posting and he's talking about it, you know, and he's like actually really mad. I think he's unpinned it since then, but it might still be somewhere. I don't really care. Anyone can verify this. It's not like there aren't other people who saw this happening.
Well,
Why can't you verify it? Why can't you verify it and blur it out?
Why can't you just turn off?
That would require too much effort.
Images.
That would require too much effort on his part. Because Vaush is known for making all the most detailed and best edited videos.
Well, he's also the humanoid typhoon, and he's also a Gish Galloper, the Stampede, because he just walks right over people. He doesn't actually care where he steps, but he just does it. Keep going.
He posted my sweaty cock and balls. It was from a screenshot. So like I stood up and you guys were all like, "Oh wow, what a big ass!" And then I turned around, then the front ass impressed all of you as well. But whatever the case may be, he got really mad after that. And I shit you not, he retweeted a tweet where he talked about how women hit the wall at 30, and women after 30 will objectively never be as sexually attractive as girls in their quote late teens and early 20s.
Again, we don't actually know if the son of a bitch actually. We don't know if it's actually his account or not. Becklaw says blurring it out work is work, and commies don't do that. Well, you're right, but they do airbrush photos out, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those instances where they airbrushed, you know, how big Vaush's balls are, and they probably have airbrushed one of them out. Who knows? Keep playing.
For several reasons. First of all, Sargon, I'm pretty sure has a wife. I'm pretty sure Sargon has a wife.
He has a wife's son.
So I don't know what age his wife is. I don't know. I'm going to assume, because he's like 40 or like 45 or something. So I'm going to assume she's over 30. And ShoeOnHead is like late 20s or something. So she'll hit 30 soon. So imagine getting so angry that your based epic red-pilled skeptic waifu is moving slightly left, that you retweet some incel bullshit to denigrate her appearance while also getting your wife in the crossfire, you know? Whew. Whew, baby. Now that,
yeah, right.
Can you like sound clip that? Like that it sounds just like what Vaush looks like. It sounds what Vaush looks like. I don't know. If I ever fucking debate Vaush, which Lord knows I might, because at this point, let's be frank, the old Vault Hunters are gone, and now the new Vault Hunters are showing up. So people like Beckloff, Forney, myself, you, we're all gonna basically take the place of fucking of Razor Fist, and I mean, Razor Fist might stick around. He's a fan favorite, but the rest of us might actually continue on, because let's be frank with ourselves. We're coming to an end of this podcast soon, and it's the end of an era. Many people are going on with their lives. Lauren Southern's basically, rejoining the fray, because let's be frank, raising a kid is hard, and who wants to fucking do that? At the same time, a lot of people are just moving on with their lives. A lot of the old Gamergate crew, they moved on. And there's a lot of let's be frank, they've already done their job. They've done their purpose. They're no longer needed. We all know what an SJW is. We've basically won the cultural zeitgeist. This is all buzzwords. Exactly. That's the problem. He's a Gish Galloper. We look up what Gish Gallop is. I'm gonna read it. Can I share this with you, Luke? Gish. Here we go. Here's what this is. Gish Gallop. This is from Wikipedia. I'll send this to you in the link. You could play this over when he's almost done. Well, it's almost done. Play it.
Let's see.
That is some good shit right there. And that's classic creepy nice guy stuff too, you know, like you flirt with a girl. We've all seen this happen in the screenshots. You flirt with a girl and then she doesn't like seem that interested, and then you tell her she's an ugly whore and you weren't interested in her anyway. We've seen that happen.
Him being
Yeah, I've seen it happen. But here's the problem, Vaush, and this is actually where I actually got to ask the question: how much of this fucking shit on r/PM or whatever it's called, the creepy r/PM, where like it's like some guy basically saying, "I hate you're so cute," and then, "Oh, I hate your fucking guts," and all this stuff. How much of this is edited? We already know you could fucking fake DMs. We already know you could fake private messages. You can also fake fucking tweets. How much of this is the girlfriend trying to say, I got him. And how much of this is the guy who wants to say, fuck you to the girl, but doesn't know how to say it. And he's just testing the waters with a fucking fake tweet. You know, how much of this, we don't know. That's the problem. It's the internet. No one knows who's watching. But a gish gallop, for those of you who don't know, is a technique used during debating that focuses on overwhelming the opponent with many arguments as possible without regard for accuracy, strength of arguments. During a gish gallop, a debate, this is a technique in countermeasure. We're going to talk about the countermeasure for a second. I'm just going to read the whole thing. It's real quick. And we're going to end it soon. During a gish gallop, a debater confronts an opponent with rapid series of many specious arguments, half-truths, and misrepresentations in the short space of time, which makes it impossible for the opponent to refute all of them with the format of the formal debate. In practice, each point raised by the gish galloper takes considerably more time to refute or fact-check than it did to state in the first place. The technique wastes an opponent's time and may cast doubt on the opponent's debating ability for the audience unfamiliar with this technique, especially if no independent fact-checking is involved, or if the audience is has limited knowledge of the topics. Generally, it is more difficult to use gish gallop in a structured debate than a free-form one, which, again, every time I've seen Vaush debate, he oftentimes just goes off the rails. So that's what, if a debater is familiar with an opponent who knows to use gish gallop, the technique can be countered by preempting and refuting the opponent's commonly used arguments first, before the opponent has the opportunity to launch a gish gallop. So basically, cantrips. You know, he's going to try to run past you, throw down cantrips, the little jacks or whatever. Do you have a cantrip? Can you look up what a cantrip is? C-A-N-T-R-I-P, I believe it's cantrip. Cantrip, D&D. Let's see if I can find a cantrip. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, he's a master. No, he's a sophist, and we're going to call him out on it. That's what I would plan to do. I'm saying, nope, you're a liar. You're a gish galloper, hence why you're Vaush the Stampede. Let's see. Gish cantrip.
Let's take a listen to this voicemail.
Hey, David. This is Malik Stewart calling from Minnesota.
Where is this from?
Casual listener of the show. Certainly appreciate everything that you and Lewis do. Just listening to your interview with the Josh Bernstein guy, and just
Caltrip,
really
that's the one.
Wonder where you find these people, one, but then two, why you let them get away with so many lies on the air, and particularly the welfare to work piece.
This is what you throw down on Vaush whenever you're debating him. Put out landmines for him. Well, they're basically D&D equivalent of landmines. A caltrip is, and thank you, Wolfwind Pepper, for this. Thank you. A caltrip or a jackrock or a crow's foot is an area of denial weapon made up of two or more sharp nails and spines arranged in a manner in which one will always be pointed up. It's basically like a D12 or a D4. So you make it so that he can't touch those, because he's going to try to walk all over you. And you just make say, no, what are you talking about? Come on. Okay, well, I'm retarded, and then explain to me like I'm retarded then. You always have to control, always be on the edge with these type of people. And I might take them on. I'm not sure yet. I'm debating on that personally, because the Lord knows he'll, in this economic time, I can't debate a communist just yet. I don't even know what the fuck's the point of the debate, right?
I mean, isn't that the reason why Styx, Hex, and Hammer won't debate him?
Yeah, I mean, what's the point, right? I mean, I will fucking hand him Styx, Hex, and Hammer on a silver platter, because let's just be frank, it's part of the greater goal to get rid of the Satanists within the alt-right. And let's be frank with ourselves, there is an actual, nice ninja spikes. Those are caltrips. Those are designed specifically to stop people from moving. so they can't run all over the place. You just throw them down, and then if they accidentally step on one, ow, that hurts, and then they get bled out or something. Anyhow, keep playing.
All right.
Yeah. The screenshots, right? Come on, this is like a premium currency on the internet. The screenshots of like the pathetic attempts at negging, like backfiring, you know. Not exactly surprising to me that Sargon wouldn't be a paragon of feminism, considering his career started with him, like a 30-year-old man, recording tirades against the tyranny of feminism for his YouTube account. So not surprising.
You mean what you're doing?
Well, let's just be frank. Vaush is getting laid. The difference here is this. It all boils down to getting fucked, isn't it? Anyhow, the point I'm trying to get across, and we don't need to continue with it because I don't want to fucking get flagged at this point. But what I wanted to say is Razorfist. Well, this is what Media Hit says. Razorfist is writing a book and looking for shows to go on. I would like to get Razorfist on. Maybe I can. I personally think it would be great to have him on. If he wants to be on, I'll let him know. If you want to let him on, hey, I'll be happy to have him on. I'll be happy to have him on, I should say. At the same time, I found this before we close this up. I found this online, and it's probably one of the better films I've actually, or not films. It explains what logos is versus the logos. You play it, Luke?
So the question is, what is logos? And specifically, how can I use this term to improve my public speaking? Those are the questions we're going to answer, so let's get into the details. Hello there and welcome back. I'm Alex Lyon, and this channel is called Communication Coach, and we are all about helping emerging leaders, probably like you, with your professional development. Today we're talking about logos. We're doing a 3-part series on ethos, pathos, and logos, all of which are persuasive appeals, or ways that we can persuade our audiences and be more convincing. So these are not just academic concepts, they are ways for us to get better at public speaking. I also want to suggest that you stick around to the end of the video. I have a couple of resources that I want to recommend that will help you with your. So in terms of logos, I have a lot to say about this, but the first thing I want to say is logos does not mean logic. Not
it doesn't.
Really. The word logic originates from logos, but there's a lot more to it. And if we only use that idea about what logos means, we're really selling ourselves short on the persuasive aspects of this term. So let's talk about what it means in a little bit more detail than that. First of all, logos is a rhetorical appeal. So ethos and pathos are also rhetorical appeals. And to draw a comparison, pathos is where you appeal to your audience's emotions. Logos is where you appeal to your audience's sense of rationale and logic. So yes, logic is involved, but it's where you're appealing to your audience's need and desire for a good argument, facts, figures, and support and evidence that support that argument. So there's a lot going on here that deserves to be unpacked. So I'm going to talk about 3 ways that you can maximize the logos in your presentations. And we're going to do that by starting with building a sound argument.
Which,
so
by the way, this will ultimately kill a commie. This is where I think a lot of if I ever take on Vaush, I have to start doing some research on him a bit more, specifically because I think someone needs to take him on. And let's be frank, I've already taken on Peterson once. I've taken on Tay Spaghetti. I stabbed Tay Spaghetti in the back. I've basically liberated the Jews from Auschwitz, and now I'm at the point where I'm thinking, let's kill some commies. Well, in Minecraft and D&D. But go ahead, play.
I mean, then after his little debates with Stefan Molyneux before Stefan Molyneux was kicked out, I mean, he exposed himself as another hypocrite.
Yeah, but here's the difference. I'm not interested in winning through logos. I'm going to do the same thing that he does to us. He uses pathos. We're going to use pathos.
You should definitely check out his debate with the real social justice warrior, where he actually tries to corner him on a legal issue. He says, "What's your background?" as his legal.
Legal?
Or what was it? Criminal justice.
Criminal justice. Okay.
Said,
what part?
He's all flustered, like he tried to get authority, like claim authority over him because he researched it so well.
Yeah. You should go to if he turns into a pink pinko, and then I'll call him on it.
For presentations, you have to build a thesis statement or a central claim that you're going to push through your entire presentation. That's really the first step if you want to appeal to people's minds. Pathos appeals to their heart, logos appeals to their mind. Keep that in mind. And by building a sound argument, we mean a couple of things. The first thing that we mean is you have to build your argument on reasonable premises and statements about reality and the topic that your audience already agrees with, that your listeners believe are true. In other words, you have to make reasonable statements that move your audience from one step to the next. You can't jump way out in front of them in some irrational way. They just
the earth is flat.
So let's pretend I am speaking to a group of people.
The earth is flat. And no, seriously, like this is basically the thing I like about this is that he's basically starting with the premise there has to be a reasonable argument. Earth being flat is not a reasonable fucking argument, especially since it's not let's just be frank, it's the avant-garde, it's the minority opinion on this matter. And then they have to they try to use evidence and logos, but the problem here is every time you say, oh, well, if we go up this high up, we could see the curvature of Earth. Nope, that's lie. That's a fake. Oh, well, what about the sun and the shadows? Like if I go all the way up to, let's say, I don't know, Anchorage, Alaska, and then I go all the way down to, let's say, Guadalajara, Mexico, and we have like the sun is shining at the same time. Nope, that's fake. That's an optical illusion. You can't deal with people with logos. Some people cannot they're close to the voice of logos. They can't be reasoned with. So pathos and ethos are what we're going to have to deal with.
Some investments to make. Here's an example of a bad way to make a statement that does not resonate with people's sense of reality. If I say, quote, everybody knows gold is the best investment you can make, unquote. That would be a very bad statement logically and rationally, because not many people are going to agree that gold is automatically the best. There's a huge jump there. What I have to do is pull that statement back down to reality and ground it in a premise that people will agree with. So here's how I would back that off. I would say, quote, some people believe gold is the best investment you can make, but is that true? Let's take a look, unquote.
And that's a good way. That's a good setup.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Quite literally. But yeah, there's that. And then I want, and this last part, because I have ShoeOnHead in the title. If she's still listening, if she's still here, or if she's still even out there, I've linked it underneath underneath in the description. There's ADHD in System 1, and I wanted to show this specifically along with the hunter versus farmer hypothesis, because I think that she would probably benefit from this. Because let's be frank, I'm not interested in saving Milady. If anything, I'm more interested in taking on the Pinko and then getting some fucking fame and fortune with it.
I mean, that is the only reason to debate Vaush at this point.
Yep. Fucking, bragging rights. John Smith, welcome, by the way. I'm going to use Eros. I'm going to use Agape or Storge. No, I'm going to use Philemon instead. I'm going to use Philemon. None of that logos or pathos or any of these things. I'm going to use Agape. Yeah, I'm going to use Agape. You think should we use Agape, Luke, when it deals with ShoeOnHead?
If you insist.
Okay. All right. So let's finish this one
We make
out.
hundreds of decisions every day, and oftentimes these decisions must be made in the face of uncertainty. The consequences and outcomes of our decisions are unclear, but a decision must be made nonetheless. As a way of navigating this uncertainty, humans rely upon heuristics, rules of thumb that allow us to simplify complex tasks and make decisions efficiently. This is the topic of Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman's 1974 paper entitled Judgment Under Uncertainty, Heuristics and Biases. This paper outlines the basic premise that heuristics are undoubtedly useful, but they often induce biases and lead to systematic errors. The paper examines three heuristics: representativeness, availability, and anchoring. These heuristics help us think on our toes, but Tversky and Kahneman illustrate their flaws. They first examine representativeness and how it leads people to overestimate the effect of similarities in accurately predicting the likelihood of an event. To see how representativeness works, consider the following description. Steve is very shy and withdrawn, invariably helpful, but with little interest in people or the world of reality. A meek and tidy soul, he has a need for order and structure and a passion for detail. Based on that description, do you think that Steve is an airline pilot, a farmer, a librarian, or a physician?
What?
Basically, what this is arguing for is two different types of intelligence and two different types of ways of perceiving the world. So, for example, if I told you that this particular image, it looks like a rabbit, but if you look at it again, you'll realize it's not actually a rabbit. It's just a bunch of squiggles that look and are shaped like a rabbit, but it's an optical illusion. Essentially, what he's arguing for is that some people, they have off-the-cuff looks. They have off-the-cuff logic. And it works half the time, because for you to sit down and process every single part of the data, every single thing all at once, it doesn't work well. It's too I should say, memory intensive. So people oftentimes have biases and ideas, and they base it off of just off-the-cuff guesses, right? So like if you won't actually know how much something weighs, but you could get a general idea based on mass, based on height, based on how big the person is, how tall they are, their girth, and things like that. But enough about my dick. Continue.
In scenarios like this, most people tend to guess that Steve is likely to be a librarian. And they base this on the fact that Steve's description is most similar to the stereotype of a librarian. However, most people overweight this similarity and overlook other factors, such as the fact that there are many more farmers than librarians. Our perception of the world is skewed by our desire to link similar things together using the representativeness heuristic. Our judgment falls victim to a similar problem when we're using the availability heuristic, which deals with how easily things are retrieved from our memory or constructed from imagination. When things are recalled or imagined with ease, we tend to overestimate their likelihood. Think of it this way. Suppose we randomly pull a word out of a book. Is it more likely that that word starts with the letter R, or that R is the third letter in the word? Most people will approach this problem by trying to think of words that start with the letter R, and then words that have R as the third letter. While doing this, people consider how easily both came to mind, and most people will find that it's much easier to search for a word by its first letter than by its third. As a result, most people will guess that the randomly drawn word from that book will probably start with an R, but this is wrong. R is actually more likely to be in the third position of a word than at the start of a word. Just as we overestimate based on similarities, we tend to overestimate based on the ease of recall. The final heuristic, which Tversky and Kahneman address in their 1974 paper, is the anchoring effect. Anchoring occurs when a starting point, or a reference point, is given to the subject and their estimates rely too heavily upon it. Kahneman and Tversky illustrate this utilizing a study with two groups of high school students. Each group was given 5 seconds to estimate the product of a sequence. The first group was given the following sequence. The second group was given the same sequence in the reverse order. Do you think that both groups arrived at similar conclusions? No. The first group's median estimate was 2,250, and the second's was 512. Where we start and how something is presented to us is actually incredibly important. While some of Kahneman and Tversky's examples might seem quite particular, they illustrate the prevalence of heuristics in our lives and the errors they lead to when we aren't careful. Sure, you might not need to calculate a mathematical sequence in 5 seconds very often, but you certainly encounter anchors whenever you walk into a department store. And you will probably never have to guess the likelihood of a letter's position in a word again, but you might find yourself feeling paranoid about being robbed if you've recently watched a newscast about robberies in town. The point of Kahneman and Tversky's paper is that a better understanding of the heuristics we use regularly can help us predict our errors and make better decisions under uncertainty.
Yes. Now, the reason you say, what does that matter? Why is that important? Well, I think that he just described the different types of mindsets. Let's say like the normie mindset. Then you have like the more esoteric 4chan mindset that goes deeper into it, like to the point where you fucking track Shia LaBeouf across country and continent by using fucking flight trajectories of fucking airlines. And the other one is more like a Spurg. Like I could totally see somebody like somebody who actually has ADD, ADHD, and all this other stuff being very, very much the system 1 version of that argument, as opposed to the more in-depth, let's mathematical think, like shoot from the hip type of person. And that's the same way I am. I oftentimes build my life around shooting from the hip. So I got to get my hip fire down, right? Got to increase my hip fire. Got to get my freaking laser lights and my freaking, got to get my hip fire up, right? Don't ever aim down sight, because that's basically what it is. It's basically shoot from the hip or aim down sight. And sometimes you need to be able to aim down sight, but sometimes shooting from the hip is just better. And I bring this up because we talked about this before, a tactic called, or not a tactic, a theory called the hunter and farmer hypothesis. And basically what it is it's an explanation, like I said before, of what of where ADHD comes from. It's a byproduct of our hunter-gatherer mindset. And if based on what she was talking about, it's entirely possible that she was never meant for the lifestyle she's living in. She's more of a huntress or a hunter, if you will, and she has to go and do shit, and that way she actually has something to do. I guarantee you, there is a thing called the autism, like hyper-focused autism, In fact, they talk about a key component of the hypothesis is the proposed hyperfocus aspect of ADHD. It is a gift or benefit under appropriate circumstances. Hyperfocus also explains the distractionary factor of ADHD individuals and their short attention span for subject matters that don't interest them, and the individuals which are forced to waste their life on. So that's another thing. This is another example of Uncle Ted being correct. I think that a lot of us are not meant for civilized society. I think some of us need to have that chaos, of the wilderness and the open. Can you get like the kiwi girl and that right next to each other? There we go. Okay, so we know that ShoeOnHead doesn't put time and effort into her fucking. Oh my god, they're even in flannel. What the fuck? Oh my god, that's fucking weird. Shit. Do they have the same? Oh boy. Oh my god, they even have the same what the fuck is this? They even have the same fucking model shoe. What the fuck? They're both Vans. This is fucking weird. They're both in flannel. I'm a bit chaotic, but yeah, I'm chaotic good. That's just how I am. But at the same time, I oftentimes, push through it because I know I can't always get what I want. You know, like what's his name? The Rolling Stones guy said, Nick Jagger, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. And let's hope that Shue gets what she needs. You know, only she knows what she needs, honestly. Vaush can't tell her. Armored can't tell her. I can't tell her. No one can tell her. She has to know. She just knows. So, that being said, Luke, any final thoughts?
Just one, if it'll play.
Well, like the man says, don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive.
Indeed. All right. Well, I'll leave you guys with these two wonderful, beautiful clones of each other. I think one is more, well, let's just be, I actually like the longer neck on Shue, personally. Plus, let's be frank, it's kind of trashy to have a dog collar. Anyhow. Else you become skeptics, bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, be good to one another, take care of one another, and remember, saving the West is, in fact, and always has been, a side quest. Keep your powder dry, and this is the Digital Renegade Podcast, out.